Your why. What is your why? Your why is what pulls you forward. So as you hear that, your why, ask yourself, what is your why? Like, what is it that you want, that you keep saying you want, but you're not getting to? Because that is the conversation that we are in for today. And I'm excited to go there with you. Hello and welcome to Say Yes to You and Why You Don't for women who are great. It's saying yes to others, but not always as great. It's saying yes to themselves. I am Claudia Braun, mindset, lifestyle, EFT coach for women who are ready to start saying yes to themselves. And if you haven't downloaded the 3 strategies to own your yes and your no, the link is in the show notes. And this is what I love about this 3 strategies that I've put together for you is it's also a great way to start to track some of your bigger whys, bigger resistances to your whys. So this would be really helpful in today's conversation. So do access it to get the 3 strategies to own your yes and really understand what's behind why you're not able to say yes to you and more likely to say no to you. So, okay, let's have this conversation. And I was prompted to talk about your why based on last week's conversation about the mean girl and the inner critic and how much I see that inner critic, judge, mean girl stopping my clients. I know it stopped me and it can still get in my way and I have to really work at unraveling it. And so the conversation about your why is what pulls you forward? What is it that is stronger for you to move you forward than hold you where you are? Because if your why isn't big enough, it's going to be easier to stay just where you are because the inner workings of the human is we want to be comfortable. You want to be comfortable, right? It's why people don't frequently get off their couch because it's warm in your house. And if you're living in a place like Chicago right now, it's cold outside. And it's so much easier to stay inside, drink something warm, eat food, watch a device. I mean, it's so easy to just bunker down and just stay comfortable, warm under the blankets, not get up and move around. I mean, we're designed to find comfort and ease. And it's not that there isn't comfort in moving forward, but it can feel uncomfortable at first as you are moving through perhaps obstacles or challenges or things that have stopped you in the past. So often when I'm working with clients, I'm thinking about, really supporting my clients on issues of wanting to lose weight, of wanting to step out in a bigger way, of committing to what they value versus being held back by what their family wanted them to do. I mean, it's so much easier for them to stay where they are and then never do the work, right? I mean, that's the reason why you don't move forward, because it's easier to stay where you are than to risk doing something that feels unknown, unpredictable, uncomfortable. Much easier to stay where you are. And so the why, your why, has to be bigger than your staying in your comfort zone. I used to focus a lot on weight loss when I first started coaching. And I would find many times that when I started coaching people to lose weight, they had a reunion coming up or a daughter's wedding or a sister's wedding or something. There was an event coming up in their lives, so they wanted to lose weight. And what I found about those experiences is that it wasn't always big enough to get them to stay there because the event would come and then what? their why wasn't big enough. It already happened. They lost the weight, or they didn't lose the weight and they were frustrated and then they quit. So it has to be bigger so that it keeps you moving forward. I know for me that I did not start to have success, true success, with my weight loss, with my consistent health and vitality, until I decided I was sick of my relationship with eating, with my overeating. I was sick of how crappy I felt. I was sick of how exhausted I felt. I was sick of how disconnected I felt from myself and other people. That's what moved me forward. That's where my why took over, was like, you know what? I want to be the best Claudia that I can be. And this eating thing is completely in my way, and I need help to shift this and change this. And then I was willing to do whatever it took so that I could change that. And that was a lot of daily actions that helped me to get to where I'm at today. But if that wasn't there, my old, I'm just going to lose 5 pounds, or I'm just going to lose 10 pounds, or I'm going to go on a diet, it never worked. And it never worked. If it worked, it was always short-lived. And so that, to me, weight loss is such a clear example that I've seen in coaching clients of when things work and when they don't work. What I find when women decide to work with me and they are doing it for their children, they realize they do not want to they don't want to show this example to their children of being somebody who's always giving themselves away. They don't want to show that to their daughters or their sons. And so their why is so big that they're like, no, I do not want to show them that I don't take care of myself. I don't want to show them that I don't make time for themselves. I want them to see a mom who takes time out of their day to care for themselves, who makes meals for themselves, who makes it a priority to meditate, who makes it a priority to say no to things that aren't for their highest good. I am invested in being the best mom I can be because I want to show my children, in addition to myself, what life can be like. And I'm changing the trajectory for the next generation. That's a powerful why. And I know that my clients that I work with, have worked with, who had that as their why, always achieve their desires. They're highly motivated because they know they want to feel good, not only for themselves, but they want to ripple that out into their family. They want to change the trajectory. They don't want to be the mom that they had. Their moms were great moms, but they didn't practice being loving and caring to themselves. They might have been great moms, but they weren't great at being able to mentor, model, show them how to take care of themselves. And they want to change the trajectory of that for women in their family. That's a big why. So I ask you, what is your why? What is it that moves you forward to make the changes in your life that you want to make? So if you've been saying yes to everybody else and not to yourself, and you are experiencing the consequences, you're more tired, you're more worn out, your health is compromised, you don't have the kind of give and take relationships that you wish you had, you feel like other people expect you to pick up the slack on things, and so you do. So if you're looking around and seeing that, wow, I just haven't made myself a priority, and I've said yes to all these things, and as a result, I'm feeling the consequences, what is the why that's going to pull you forward to say, not anymore? I'm going to be that woman who changes. I'm going to be that woman who makes the difference in my life and commits to daily actions. Because that's the thing. Whether it's about starting to truly own your yes to yourself, whether it's about taking on a healthy eating practice, whether it's about moving more, whether it's about starting to really step out in the world in a more creative way, whether it's about stepping out into the world in the relationship way that you want to, whether it's about creating the kind of home environment you want, spiritual life you want, work life you want, whatever the area of your life is that you want to shift and change, what is it that's going to be strong enough that you're willing to take daily actions? Because that's the thing. This is something you're willing to commit to 80% of the time. I always say in the work that I do with my clients is that 20% of the time you may fall back into old ways, or you may not get it 100%, probably won't. We're not perfect. But if 80% of the time you hit the mark, that's amazing. So you're talking about daily practices. What's the daily action that aligns with your why? What is the why that is big enough to keep moving you forward so that you take daily action? Know that if you don't take daily action towards your desires, you won't get there. Or your path is going to be very circuitous and frustrating to you, having a lot of stops and starts. I liken it to the on-off diet practice that many people have. I know I had back in the day. Be on a diet for a little while, lose some weight, well, that worked, and then I'm off it again. You know, that yo-yo practicing. And it's why people frequently make the same resolutions every year, because they struggled to get it the year before. So this is about really looking at how is your why going to be something that pulls you forward on a daily basis, that has you, and they don't have to be big actions, but they take you closer to that which you desire for yourself. And that is going to fuel you forward. Because what I know is that you put a why in place and you put practices in that help support you towards your why. Your little practices are going to be inspiring to you and supporting you to move forward. But you know, they say, energy in motion stays in motion. Meaning, it's much easier to stay in motion if you're in motion. If you're sitting on your couch and you're thinking about going outside and it's really cold out and you don't want to go, it's a lot harder to get yourself off the couch than if you're already at the door and put your shoes on. You're like, well, I'm a lot closer to getting outside. You know, it's like it's easier to keep moving once you're going. The beginning is always the most challenging because you have to get yourself up to speed. And so why you need a good why, a big why that excites you, that inspires you, that makes you feel happy in your heart. And I'm going to tell you, if it's something that makes you feel like you don't really want to do it, but you think you should, it's not a good why. Because should is that phrase that is that self-judgment. If you think you're somebody who should get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you're not somebody who wants to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and just dread it, it's unlikely in the beginning you're going to get there. So maybe you say, okay, currently I get up at 8 o'clock, and if I got up just an hour earlier, that would make a difference. I always encourage people to take small actions first. So start smaller, right? It's kind of like that. If you haven't been to the gym in 6 months, setting the goal of getting to the gym every day is unlikely. If you haven't been to the gym in 6 months, if you got there once or twice, that'd be huge progress. So keeping your why in mind, what is a small action that would inspire you to get to where you want to go? And again, reframe your why if it is should-oriented, because should-oriented always says somebody else thinks that's what I should do. Somebody else has that goal, so I should take it on. Not a good practice. You want your why to come from a place of true desire. You're ready for something different. I've shared here before, but I am an ex-cigarette smoker, and I smoked for well over 11 years. I smoked about a pack a day. Hard to believe now because it's been so long ago that I quit. But I remember when I quit for the last time, it was 3 times before it finally stuck. And when I finally quit, I wanted to stop the dependency on having to have them. The cigarettes, the lighter, where were they? I mean, it was just, I remember, I can still feel it, driving, scrummaging for my cigarettes, where's my lighter? And then having to go buy a pack of cigarettes. I was so sick of being dependent on that habit. And then how crappy it made me feel. I was like, I'm willing to do what it takes to let this go. And anybody who's been a cigarette smoker, it's not easy because your mind is just a trickster and it's like, oh, just have a cigarette. It's not that big of a deal. Just have a cigarette. But I knew it was more than that. And I really wanted to drop the dependency of having to have cigarettes. And once I got that, and once I moved through that, no longer feeling the nicotine in my body, and again, anybody who's quit smoking, you feel worse before you feel better because all that crap comes up from your throat, and it's not a pretty experience, but it's so worth it. Having been on the other side of it for many, many years. But I needed a why big enough. I needed to feel good. I needed to want to release all of that to keep me moving forward when the mind wants to tell you it's not that big of a deal. Because if you believe the mind, you're just going to go back to it. And that's the thing. Whatever the thing is that you want to change, that you want to move, you want your why for, you want to have it be something that's going to bypass your mind telling you, oh, why bother? Why do that thing? It takes up too much time. It's too much of a commitment. It's kind of annoying. You could just do what you want to do. You don't have to be so disciplined. It's not worth it. Your mind is going to sabotage your success. It's what it does on the way to getting to where you want to go. So your why has to be big enough to move you forward, to be willing to look at those ideas, beliefs that get in your way. And that's why your why matters. And so share with me, what's your why? If you don't have a why, make sure you download the 3 strategies to own your yes. It'll be helpful in cultivating your why. And again, I invite you to consider the areas of your life where you're not as satisfied as you wish you were. And if you are somebody who's giving your time away consistently, consider the consequences of giving your time away consistently to people, projects, things. What's it costing you? Because what it's costing you is what you're not allowing yourself to have for yourself. And I know that many times my clients, the first thing that they notice when they start taking their time back is the peace that they feel, that they're not being run around by somebody else's agenda. So I really invite you to answer the question, what is your why? And does it need to be tweaked a little bit? I'm here. So if you have questions about your why, you want some help cultivating it, I would love to support you. And again, do access the 3 strategies to own your yes and own your no, because it is a very helpful tool and a guide that I've put together that I know can be of great benefit. Thank you for being here today. It is always a delight and a pleasure for me to share with you and to have you be part of this community listening. And if you found value here, I invite you to share this with those you know in your life who might be struggling to say yes themselves. Please share it. And I know that it's a very intense time in the world right now, and many people are struggling. So please offer this to others as an opportunity to feel more hope and inspiration in a time that can feel very challenging and sometimes dark. Again, thank you for being here on Say Yes to You and Why You Don't. I am Claudia Braun, mindset and lifestyle coach for women who are ready to start saying yes to themselves. And I look forward to being with you next week. And join me as we do the mid-month review of where we are and really look at kind of where we're going with this holiday season and how do we take care of ourselves in this intense time. Bye for now.